Alright guys, today we're gonna be reacting to things Germans do that just make more sense. Things that Germans do that make more sense. The title says it all, folks. We're gonna just react to some of the experience that other people are having living in Germany. Hopefully I can learn some things here. And let's see what happens. Let's jump in. Hey,
YouTube
Haley.
channel. Did not know. Now you do. Hey, you guys, what's up? So in today's video, y'all, I'm going to be talking about, I guess, German things or things that Germany or Germans do that make more sense. And I should preface this or put in parentheses for an American, because this could be normal in Europe, let's say, or even in other parts of the world. And for me as an American, it's not. So just keep that in mind when I'm talking about these things. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this intro relatively short, simple, and sweet. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. The first point is going to be the triangle. And me trying to make a triangle with my hands is not really working
Oh, Illuminati stuff. Wow. I'm just kidding, of
out, you
course.
guys. And the vest that Germans carry in their car. This is not required in the United States, and I always wonder why. And so basically you have this little triangle that has reflecting lights or strips on it,
Oh.
and it's for when you get into an accident. I think you go like 200 steps down the road, you put the little triangle down so people are aware that there's an accident
I
ahead, that
did
there
not
might be
know that.
people walking around, that there might be debris somewhere, there might be
That's crazy. I did not know that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I agree. Give some time for people to know what's going on. Like you put that triangle on the floor. You're basically saying like, "Hey, there's an emergency here," just to let you know. Wow, that's
oil
crazy,
spilt
man.
somewhere, so people just have a warning of, hey, be alert and be aware. And this also goes for the vests that you keep in your car as well. They're usually these orange or yellow vests that you
Yeah.
wear in case of an accident. I believe they have not magnetic, reflecting stripes on them as well. And when you're looking at how accidents are handled and how road safety is handled, it's taken like up a notch. I feel like because
Yep.
of the unbegrenzt, you have no speed limit on the autobahn in some instances, and so you have to be cautious, you have to be careful, because accidents can happen. And just on roadways in general, regardless of what speed limit you are driving, accidents happen. And so
Yeah,
they're
I
trying
agree.
their best in Germany to prevent other injuries, other accidents, other things that could be associated with, I have no idea, someone being stuck on the side of the road. So the next one, you guys, is going to be something that I found to be extremely funny when I first got to Germany. I mean, now it's pretty normal, but when I first got here and I was driving on the Autobahn, I remember like a Volkswagen Passat or a Skoda Octavia, I think they're called, coming up behind me, and there was a hitch, like, and on that hitch they were towing a little camper, a little sleeper, and I was just like, what in the world? And they were Richtung Gardasee, wahrscheinlich für der
Oh,
Familienurlaub.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't get too carry, man. You have to speak English still, huh? You said a couple German stuff that I'm like, ooh.
And I was like, what the heck is this? A car, a multifunctional family automobile is pulling a camper behind them? In the United States, we do not do this. Like, the association of towing does not relate to family vehicles or sedans
Let me see,
or
let me see.
four.
What towing? Oh, I see what she's saying. Yeah, you need a bigger car to do so. But in Germany, they're saying like, "Hey, man, we can handle this. Just give me that piece of big um what the hell I'm trying to say here." So basically, in the United States, we need bigger vehicles just to use towing. But in Germany, they can do it with anything, not with this roaster, right? Interesting.
Door, compact, hatchback, station
Yeah.
wagon vehicles. It just does not happen. You usually have a truck, a
Yep.
big old working van, or an SUV, because you need the Super Duty King Ranch limited edition 4x4 lifted 2730 Rams with the blah, blah, blah. You need all of
Yeah, it's true. You have to have all of it just to It's to flex. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to flex. That's what she's trying to say. Oh, that was nice.
27, 30 Rams with the blah, blah, blah. You need all you need all of these things to be able to tow, and it's
Just
just
to move it.
not even in the back of Americans' minds or even at the front of Americans' minds to tow something with their tiny Toyota Corolla. But I think this makes sense
Well, that's
because
smart.
it allows you to do a lot more with your vehicle. The practicality of your vehicle in Germany, I feel like you get a lot more use out of your vehicle than
Yeah.
you do in the United States. So the
Good
next point, you
point.
guys, is going to be hard for me to explain it to you guys, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from, and it's going to be the general speed limits in specific areas here. I find this to be a really cool concept. I feel like it makes sense. At first, I really thought it was very confusing. I still find it to be very confusing because I don't drive that often, but I feel like if I did, it would be a lot easier.
So it's not it doesn't make sense, right? If it's still confusing, unless your brain doesn't want to accept it, right? That's I think that's what it is.
Than in the United States. In Germany, I feel like you drive based on general signs and a general base understanding of like these are the rules and this is what happens. And these rules are usually on signs that have specific symbols, numbers,
Damn,
or
man.
pictures on them. And so for general speed limits, I think when you're driving into a yellow sign that has a city or a district name on it, I think you have to either go 50 or 30. I don't know which one it is, you guys. I know that it's lower though. And then once you drive out of that city or district, there'll be another little sign with a line through it, which means you are leaving now, and then you can speed up, usually to around 100 kilometers per hour. I could be wrong, like I said, and I might correct myself if I am
100
wrong. And if you
kilometers
drive
per
into a
hour.
city, like a main city, I think it's either 30 or 50 as well. And then when you get into the autobahn, they have signs that have, lines through them. That means you can go as fast as you want. But generally speaking, you drive like 100 or 120, and then if there's a sign that
And
says
these are
80, you slow
kilometers,
down.
right?
But it's
So
like,
those are kilometers. So how many kilometers does a mile? Well, how many miles does a kilometer have? Or the other way around? Let me see. How many miles per kilometer? So it's point 621, right? So it's 120. Let's just do a little bit of math here. 130, right? 130 kilometers per hour. It's just 80 miles. Okay, so that's not that fast. Well, it is fast, but it's not as fast as I thought. All right. So if you can see here, no, can you see it? I don't think you can see it. No, I don't think y'all can see it. It's supposed to be here, yeah. So it's 130 kilometers per hour. It's only 80 miles, 80.7.
you just know these things. You
So
don't
you
really
round it out
need
to
the signs.
81.
Like some signs advise you what to do, but it's not based, like, I don't know how to explain it to you guys. Like I feel like Germans know what I'm talking about, but Americans won't know, because when you're in the United States, it's like 45 here, 35 here,
Yeah.
50 here, 65.
Damn, look at that one at the bottom. Damn, that's like, golly, bro. Like, what do you do with that? What do you do with this one right here? It's better to just put it down and make it all over again, man. Just destroy everything, man. Just put a couple signs, rebuild the streets, rebuild the roads, and just make it easier for everybody, man. When you do things like that, like that's New York State to go to. Man, forget about it. I would not even understand it. I had to literally stop and just go like and figure out, because it's too many. Look at that one, man. It's
there, 70 there, and it's constantly changing, and you don't know. You have no clear understanding of how fast do I drive here, or how fast am I allowed to drive here. It's ever changing, and in Germany that's not the case. And Mike,
Oh,
he
I
was a
see.
little confused when he first came to the United States and was driving, because he was like, well, how fast do I go here? And I'm like, oh, it's 45. And he's like, but how do you know that? I said, oh, there's a sign that says 45, and until you see the next sign, that's how it works. And he's
Yeah.
like, but what happens if, like, you drive into a city and you don't change? And I'm like, no, you just drive whatever this little sign is. And he's like, but they're not all consistent. And I'm like, no, every place is different. So the next point is going to be fund, you guys. And this is something that I've talked about all the time on my channel, but I feel like in 2022, they implemented a new rule slash law slash legislation regulation. And it is that I think every plastic container up to 3 liters has to have fund on it. Or it might be every container, but I'm pretty sure it's every plastic container. When you buy something, you pay a deposit on it, and you get that deposit back when you return the bottle. And the reason I think this is such a good idea is because I think maybe it would help people in the United States.
It doesn't work. We already have it here. A lot of Americans don't know this, but mostly all major cities in the United States have that system. It doesn't work. It does not work. I don't know why. It just doesn't work. We have a recycle system where you can have your bottles and, you know, recycle them. You get a deposit out of it. Probably a lot of illegals, undocumented people, they use it a lot, for sure. And I've seen it when I was in New York. I've seen them all the time, man. And I like that, because, you know, it makes sense. I mean, let's say I have 100 little bottles, right? And I want to get some change. That's like that you know, it start getting very good. Gas money, food money, right? Like it's not a bad idea. However, I don't know why it doesn't work here. It doesn't.
Take a second look at how much they are consuming, and it would actually make the plastic end up in the right spot. I feel like littering is a big thing everywhere in the world. I've seen it happen in Germany. I've seen it happen in the United States, but I do feel like in the United States, we are so, how do you say, like, so removed from how much we consume because it's just so normalized, and we have no real consequences for what we do. In Germany, it's like, I have to pay, or I pay 25 cents, and you may be thinking, oh, it's only 25 cents, but that 25 cents adds up. If you were to take all of the fund that I have collected since living in Germany, we would probably have like hundreds or thousands of euros that I've spent and like recollected for my plastic bottles, and that is a lot of money. And this is why I think it's a very good idea, because it makes people reevaluate.
You know what? If it is 25 cents, well, that's a changer, man. Every day I will just stop in one of those thingies, and, you know, the water in the United States is very cheap. You buy one of those big packages of water, 50, 25, 100, right? Probably costs like $6. And then you go back to one of those thingies, start depositing. Oh, you make money, bro. You make money. I'm telling you.
How much they consume. The next point is going to be a little bit controversial, and there are some con aspects that I might make a video tailored to regarding this in the future, but I want to talk about the positive aspects of this point, and it is splitting kids up to go to different types of schools. Now, like I said, this is not a perfect system. It has its flaws. There have been studies about this. People have made videos about this, talking about the flaws of this system. But I do like the general idea that children can go to different levels of school or different pathways for education in Germany. There are 3 different options, I believe, that German children can take, and they're split up at an early age. They get pushed into those schools.
Yeah.
Now, I will talk a little bit about the flaws, you guys, because I just can't not talk about this point. I do feel like it happens maybe too young, and sometimes kids are pushed to do stuff based on their economic or social standing, and maybe not based on their merit or their grades or their success level. But I do think if this was maybe worked on a little bit, and maybe a little bit more time and effort and resources were put into this system and making it, you know, just a more functional system, then I would say it is a perfect system. Because
So you're not saying it's not functional? You lost me there. Is it functional? Does it work? Is it creating a good society? Is it creating a good environment for other people? Is it working? That's the question, folks. That's the question. If it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. It doesn't have to make sense. If I look at it, it doesn't make sense, it's fine. I just want to see the end result. Is it working? If it is working, don't fix it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
As I've said this many times before, not everyone is made for the traditional school route. Not everyone is made to go to high school, to go to college, to go to university, to get their master's and work as a CEO at this company or work as a marketing manager or doing all these things. Some people like construction. Some people like working on cars. Some people like working as teachers. Some people like working as models. Some people like working as photographers. And so I do think that this could be a very encompassing school system, but it just needs to work out its tweaks. So the next point, you guys, is going to be something that I already talked about, and I think it's pretty funny, and I think it's an interesting point because so many people were confused about it when I talked about it in my previous video, and it is that you can pay for your gas after you pump. I'm trying to think if that's the right way to word it. So yeah, in the United States, you usually pay beforehand, meaning you put your credit card, debit card in the little machine at the gas station, and then you just pump your tank full, or you put however much money you want to put in there. Or you have the option of going in and telling the cashier that you want to put 20 on pump 1. And a lot of people were like, but how do you know when you do that how much you pay or how much gas you need? And I was like, you don't, you just guess. And I think that the German method makes more sense because it's true, you do guess in the United States. And this has happened to me like from both ends of the spectrum, where you say, okay, I want to put 20 on pump 1, and then your car needs like $23. And it's like, it's not full. Like, it bothers me when I put so much money in the like tank, and then it's only like this small from being full. I don't know if I have an issue with this, but it really like irks me. Or you have the other end of the spectrum where you put 20 bucks in and your car only needed $18.15. Then you gotta go into the gas station and get your $1.85 change back. And it varies from gas station to gas station. It's not like one umbrella.
Nah, that's not gonna happen. Here in the United States, that's not gonna happen. You lost your $20. You lost your $20. I never tried though. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I never tried it. I never tried it. So I don't know if you said they made $20, right? And then all of a sudden they get full by $15. I don't know if you can go back and say, hey man, my car got full. My car is full with $15, so I want the other $5. I don't think a gas station is gonna say, hey man, you know what? Here's the $5. I don't think so. It could be, or it could be that it's in the law. Like, hey, if someone, tell you a certain amount, but then when they go back to the car, they only needed this amount, you have to refund the rest of the amount. I don't think so. If it is written like that on the law, you probably have to call some lawyers, man. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm gonna keep it 100% with you guys. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Rule that it's like, oh, you go into this gas station and get your change back. No, every gas station is different. I went into a gas station in the United States when I was visiting, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask you, do I need to get my change after, or does it automatically go back on my card? And he's like, you just come back in and I give you the change cash even though you paid with a card. He said, but the gas station down the street, they don't do that. You just drive off and you get your change credited back to your card. And I was like, okay. What? How? I understand why they don't do it.
Yeah, they do it like that because then you're gonna forget.
In the United States, you guys, and it's because so many people would steal gas, so many people would drive away. There aren't enough honest people in the United States to make this happen. Too many bad.
It's just the culture, folks. The culture.
Apples ruin the bunch. So the last and final point, you guys, I feel like is going to have the biggest impact on the United States, or would have the biggest impact on the United States, and it is plastic bags not being allowed in a lot of retail stores in Germany. This is something that is quite interesting to me.
It's happening already.
An observation that I've made over the years living here is that when a new law, regulation, or rule is implemented in Germany, as long as it's not too burdensome, if it helps the general population, and it's not too hard to implement in your daily life, people are pretty chill when it comes to just rolling with the punches and going with the flow. And this is for every aspect of life. And so plastic bags were banned and there was no uproar here. People weren't in the streets, protesting about the plastic bags or going crazy on social media about plastic bags. But I remember
squares,
at certain
stuff.
McDonald's in the United States, they started charging 25 cents for extra sauces. Now it was because a lot of franchises, they had to A, pay for them themselves, and B, they were just trying to cut back on how much plastic they gave. And so you would buy 10 chicken nuggets, you'd probably get 2 to 3 sauces, and there would be people who'd be like, I need 10 sweet and sour sauces for my chicken nuggets. And then they're like, okay, that'd be 25 cents each. And people were in an uproar. I need my sweet and sour sauce, and if I can't get 10 plastic things of it, then it's communism. And I'm just like, what is going on? This can't be real life. And I always find it to be very interesting how societies react to these things. Germans are, it's whatever, no big deal, doesn't really bother me that much. And what's 25 cents? In the United States, oh my gosh, it's such an inconvenience. My life is.
Well, what areas I would like to know? Because when the plastic bag change happened in the state, when I was living in New York, I didn't care. I thought it was a great idea because New York has a lot of plastic bags, right? So they were charging you for the plastic bags. And I think that's great because a lot of people are irresponsible, folks. They have free stuff and they like to throw free stuff around. Like, they don't value the stuff. And I go to Aldi here in Wisconsin, and I pay for my plastic, not even plastic bag. It's just cardboard. It's not plastic. It's a good bag. Like, you feel good paying for the bag. Doesn't feel bad. And I think that's great. That's great. There has to be a change to certain things. And the plastic bag, there's nothing worse. You're in the driveway and you're right in the middle of the road. You see a damn plastic bag just floating around like a ghost. The worst thing ever, man. It just gives you like a sense of depression.
Is ruined, and I'm suffering. And that is the same with plastic bags in the United States. I know that some states, maybe not states, maybe certain cities, districts, counties have banned plastic bags.
Yeah.
But they are still very prevalent in the United States. For the United States to completely ban, let's say, plastic bags at grocery stores, I feel like would cause an uproar. I honestly feel like people would protest in the streets because of this. And it's so crazy to me because there are so many places in the world where people don't use plastic bags and they're perfectly fine. They're not dying on the side of the street. They're not having to, maybe they have to carry a few extra bags with their groceries, but it's just like, I think it would be such a positive impact. It would get rid of so many plastic bags that.
No, it's happening. It will take some time, but it's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's just you don't want the government to be there all the time, right? Just allow some supermarkets to do that themselves. They're doing it already, so just let it be. When you get the majority of supermarkets doing it, that's when they pass the law. So it works a little bit different, right? So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That people use on a daily basis, that they have no Überblick. They have no understanding of how much plastic they consume when it comes to grocery shopping and using these single-use plastic bags, and maybe using 5 to cover their milk or wrap their eggs in a bunch of plastic bags.
Damn,
people
really?
They've lost all control of how much they're consuming. And so I think the best way, this is maybe the same, and this is why they did it in Germany as well. The best way to stop consumption of these things, because you don't necessarily need them, is to just ban them outright. Now, I do think there are certain instances where people will argue with me and say, oh, well, you need plastic bags for this or you need plastic bags for that. And that is very true. There are some instances where maybe you do need a plastic bag or like a plastic straw or a plastic cup. There are some instances where maybe you do need this. But for the majority of the time, you probably don't, and you'll be fine without it. But yeah, those were all the points, you guys. And these were all of the things that I feel like Germany or Germans do that just make a lot more sense to me. And so yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. You can let me know if I missed anything down below in the comment section. Other than that, love y'all. Have a wonderful day. And
hey, shout out to the lady, man. She did a very good job. She did a very good job. Explain some of the details here. Very good. I liked it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. She did a very good points, and I think the plastic bag is one of those that I'm more like let the supermarkets do it right there, because they're currently doing it. I do believe that the private market is doing a very good job and just really minimizing some of the stuff, right? Because it's gonna be stronger in the culture's mindset, right, than in a law, right? A law can be changed today and then tomorrow. Nah, let the conscience do it because they're doing it. They're doing it. And where I live in Wisconsin, there's a lot of stores that they don't even do plastic bags. You have to bring your own bag. Yeah, very good. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with her? Or you guys don't agree with her? Do you guys agree with me in some of these points, or you guys don't? Either or. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like always, I'll see you in the next one.